so in today's video I'm actually going to be doing a first impression, and the first impression is going to be on the Naked 3 palette. I know that there's been quite a few videos on the Naked 3 palette, and I was actually really debating on talking about it and whatnot. Everyone's opinions are different, and I figured that I would just do a first impression slash unboxing because I have not opened this palette yet. So my husband actually bought the palette and gifted it to me as an early Christmas present, and I'm definitely excited that I'm able to use it a little bit earlier, and I really don't think I would have been able to wait another 2 weecks or so, even though I waited for a while, since it has been out for a few weeks now and everyone and their mom is like freaking out about this thing. This time around, Urban Decay decided to go with a box, and usually the Naked 1 and the Naked 2 palette came in clear plastic casing. The box does look sleek and it is really nicely put together. On the back it just has all of these shadows once again, and it has all their names. It has the sample pod eyeshadow primers listed as well. So I'm pulling out the actual Naked palette, and then in this flap as well it does contain all of the eyeshadow primers. I guess before we get to the good stuff, let me just open this up real quick. As you can see right here, they have listed all of the eyeshadow primers, and they do come in like one-time use sample packaging pods, and I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I really don't like single-use products unless I am only using it for one-time use only. It's saying that you can get a week's worth of use out of each of these primers. I really much rather preferred a like travel size primer potion instead of these little sample packages. I feel like I would get more use out of that. The packaging is very much similar to the Naked 2. It does have like a rigid type surface. They had mentioned that these are 12 new shadows, and they are obviously all rose hued if you don't know this by now. They also mentioned that all these shadows are exclusive to this set, so you won't be seeing repeats in other palettes or whatnot. So I thought that was cool that they did come up with that concept. If you are really interested in rose tone shadows, then this would be probably a really awesome set for you to try out. It also comes with a brush as well, and the brush is doubled N. And they have more of a shadow brush here where you can just pack the shadow onto your lid, and they also have a blending type brush as well. I'm going to swatch the shadows with no eyeshadow primer. I just feel as if you get the best payoff that way, you know, considering it is a first impression. I don't want to add anything to it. I just want to show you guys how it is right off gate and just, you know, go from there. Alright, so I have the swatches on my arm, and I want to start off with the lightest color, and the lightest color is called Strange. It is a matte white color that does have a pink undertone to it. And as far as using this color, I could see myself using this to highlight my brow bone or even highlight the inner corners of my eye. The next color that I'm going to be talking about is this color right here, and this one is called Dust. And this one actually came out not as pigmented as I thought it was going to turn out. The fact that it did have a lot of fallout once I did swatch it on my arm, I wasn't a big fan of that. As you can see right here, it is almost barely noticeable. I'm pretty sure that the only thing that's super noticeable is the pink specks that is added into the shadow. The next shadow is this shadow right here, and this one is called Burnout. And this has more of a satin finish to it that has some baby pink tones to it as well. The shade right here is called Limit. This is more of a lighter brown matte color that does have some pink undertones in it as well. And this is a really pretty color to use as a transition color. I can definitely see myself using this color a lot in multiple looks. The next color is called Buzz. This is more of a rosy, frosty pink shade, and it does kind of have a iridescent type look to it. This shade right here is called Trick, and this is more of a copper tone, and it does have that gold coppery look to the shadow. And I would say it has really tiny specks of pink in it, but nothing super noticeable. The next shade is called Nooner. This is more of a darker matte color, and this is a really pretty color. I can definitely see myself using this color more on the crease, and it does have a pinkish undertone to it. This shade is called Liar. I actually really like this color. It reminds me of more of like a petal pink. It does have an iridescent quality to it as well. This shade is called Factory. It is a velvety shadow, and this is more of a brown tone, but it does have some pink factor into it. The next color is called Mugshot. It almost looks pretty similar to Factory. I would say it is maybe a shade darker. Another velvety shade, and it does have the same amount of shimmer to it as well. The next shade is called Dark Side. This is more of a darker satin type shadow, and I can definitely see myself using this on the outer part of my crease. I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but it does have a rosy type tint to it. And then the last color is this shade right here. I was really excited to swatch this color. It is called Blackheart. It is a smoky black shadow with pinky red type flecks in it, and again, this is a really pretty color. Definitely another favorite in the palette as well. I'm really excited about trying that color out. Here is an overall view of all of the shadow swatches. So my thoughts on the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. After I've already done the swatches and seen them for myself and discussed them with you guys, I am really impressed with the colors overall, but I honestly think that there's a few shades in this palette that I can honestly do without. For example, the shade Dust. That was the second color that I had swatched. This is my least favorite color out of the whole palette. I really was not impressed at all. There was a lot of fallout, and I was just meh about it. I really didn't care for it at all. The fact that it looks super pigmented in the palette, but it really isn't pigmented at all, so it's kind of upsetting. You can actually see like my veins through the swatch that I did perform on my arm, and that's pretty sad considering the fact that, you know, this is an expensive palette and you would expect really good quality out of all shadows. I feel like there was a couple shadows that did have very similar characteristics to it as well. I feel like they could have done without either Factory or Mugshot. I think the colors are just too similar, and they could have, you know, done without one and it made more of a uniquer shade, I guess you can say. Both the colors are overall really pretty, just like super similar on the swatches. Again, it was these two colors right here that I thought are a lot more similar. I don't know if it's showing up on camera the way I'm seeing it in person. I think the only difference is this shade is like maybe a half a shade to maybe one shade darker, but I wasn't really impressed at the fact that they were very similar. And, you know, if I am getting a palette that has 12 different shades in it, then I would expect to have 12 different colors, not one shade almost matching the next shade. I also feel as if they could have added more matte colors in this palette. They could have added maybe an extra 1 or 2 matte shades. I'm definitely more of a fan of matte shadows, so I could definitely see myself using more matte shadows versus shimmery shadows. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are in love with the fact that there is more shimmer, satiny type shadows in here versus matte shadows, but that's just my opinion, and I feel like, you know, I just wanted to let you guys know that as well. Overall, I am excited about trying this palette out. I can definitely see myself using a lot of the shadows that are in this palette. If I had to rate it from 1 through 10, I would probably have to give it like a 7.5. I honestly think that this palette was way too hyped, but nonetheless, I'm really excited about being able to try it out and adding this palette to my Naked collection. Oh, and if you guys are interested in having me create a look using the Naked 3 palette, I would be glad to do that for you guys. That sums up my thoughts on the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and if you guys have any questions or whatnot, just comment down below, let me know what's up, and if you can please like this video if you thought it was helpful. If you're interested in more of my beauty videos, then subscribe to my channel as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Alright ladies, so I hope I was able to help y'all, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.